actually want to move from reactive care to proactive care. And as I said earlier, from this to us, doctors don't need any more data, but AI systems, and machine learning systems do, right, from that. And we want to be able to move like into the center, right, of a care continuum that's out there, be able to move into the middle, into a larger population of patients. And to be able to do that, you're going to have to use cost-effective technology. Sensors, wearables, driven by AI, do that, even deviceless. We put together partnerships with companies that are doing voice biomarkers, that are doing facial acquisition of data to be able to screen the face. So think about all the things that's been shown around telehealth and the pandemic, where it was probably 10% adoption before the pandemic and then 75% after the pandemic, because that's the only way you can see your doctor. You can now use that camera on the smartphone. They've gotten better over time, where you can actually start taking biometrics and readings and behavioral sentiment analysis from it to be able to understand what's going on with the patient without deploying any type of technology. The good thing about this also is that there's a lot of people that are stuck over on the reactive side of it. That's what's really kind of giving a crappy feeling of people using remote patient monitoring that it's not scalable, because they're waiting until the people are sicker from that, and they're having to ship out all this equipment to people to do it, and they're not acting in a proactive manner. We recently have been awarded as part of the team the VA contract, 8-year contract, $250 million. Our portion is probably right around $95 million. But it's a $1 billion contract in total. It's split between 4 companies. And that $1 billion contract really only takes care of 70,000 patients in a reactive mode. So they are taking our kits, that scales the blood pressure and everything else, and putting them with patients, but they're doing it reactively, right? And they really need to address between 7 and 9 million patients that are out there. And so they need to be able to move into getting signals and alerts earlier with patients in the VA, trying to nudge them into compliance, making sure they're taking their medication, making sure they're taking their readings, making sure we're getting data, signal data from patients proactively so that we know if something's going on with them, right, from that. And we have the technology, and we also, we're going to go over this in a minute, we have the patent portfolio of anything that's a wearable device that communicates to an implantable device, or a rapid diagnostic, or a medical device. We own the patents of it from that as well. So people that want to cross over from a reactive mode into a proactive mode and start getting to larger populations of patients, basically, we're going to be working with them right along the way to do that. So, go the other direction. One of the things that's really critical on this, if I can go back to the right place, is new models of care are coming out. And new models of care, like when we work with Mayo Clinic through the accelerator, they've got a big AI division that they're working with. Mayo Clinic's got 23 years or 21 years of data from the electronic health record. They've got claims data that's out there as well. They've also got genomic data, and Richard and I were talking about this earlier about how much we feel about that everybody should start using genomic data to start looking at to start aligning the right medication with the right genomic structure that's out there. But a lot of this data is older data, right? And to be able to have near term, what's really happening with Kedix today, you need to be able to have patient-generated data. And that's where we're coming from. Let me just be very, very clear. I'm not saying that I want doctors to have more data, but I want those AI systems to do that. And you saw where ChatGPT is going or went over the summer. It's going to explode. And part of the reason why I put these patents together, 8 years ago, is because I knew that we were going to lose people. I knew we were going to go to value-based care. In my gut, I knew we'd have to take care of more people with less. And that data was going to start fueling analytic systems and give us insights into what's going on with the patient at home. I like to do that. And that's where we're at. So when you start looking at Life365, what it's really about, it's a data company and an engagement company. It's engaging people to be able to get the data we need to manage larger populations of patients with fewer resources, right, to do that. The other thing really quickly, if you've heard of like Medically Home and Dispatch Health and DocGo and MedArrive that are all parametric-based systems that are out there, They basically are waiting until the patient discharges from the hospital, then sends a paramedic out to stabilize them. I want to start giving data to them 5 to 7 to 10 days in advance to say, hey, you may want to send a fast response team out to go see Kent, and don't wait till they get sick or send an ambulance to them. I want to give them situational awareness of what's going on in the home. I want to give them the ability to do predictive intervention, and data is going to be the key to do that. It's also, when we're talking about the engagement side of it, we're talking about how we engage people. And to be able to engage people, my mom and dad didn't get engaged the same way. Mom had 3 laptops and 2 tablets. She would fill out a survey all day long from that, and she would take all her readings, and it was great, right, from that. She also learned how to circumvent our technology we put in too. She learned that if she did an INR reading out there and her normal INR was 4, if she put in 2, it would alert a nurse and she could talk to the nurse all day long, right, as well. So because she was lonely, right, from that. I always say when you're in a skid, turn into the skid, right? So if that's what it takes to embrace my mom, to keep out of the hospital and reduce stays, right, to keep her engaged, then embrace that kind of stuff. When Mario's creating video games that are out there, let the patient cheat, right, on the video game, because you've got them to be able to engage with them and give them some teachable moments, right, as well. So we want to deliver technology through omni-channel, whether it's smart TVs or voice assist or Alexa. There's not one in the room, right? Okay, Alexa, or a tablet or a computer or a wearable device or an IoT device. We want to be able to do that. We are doing that through multiple different ways in a mission to get engagement increase and data from it as well. We talked about how the traditional RPM kind of looks like this, right, from that perspective, and that's not order, that's chaos, right, to people when it shows up into a home, right, from that. We want to start going to something that's fully integrated, right, from that. We just recently acquired a company, Pildrill, and the designer of Pildrill is here, Peter Havas and his team. His team came from Google and Amazon and Apple and all Bay Area guys, and they just made a fantastic technology platform that we're able to incorporate into our platform. This looks a little bit disorganized from the picture, but it really is not. I mean, we're wanting to be able to not only track your medication and your data, we want to be able to do pre-fill medication. We want to be able to get biometric. We want to be able to get data anywhere that you want to engage, right, to get data. We're also bringing on board, Tom Hall and AffirmXH. They've created a little tiny sensor that runs on a coin cell battery and emits temperature and heart rate variability and movement. And with that, you can be able to make multiple different algorithms that are out there for care. What's one of the major problems that we have with my mom and dad for devices like this? For charging. This little device lasts on a coin cell battery for up to 6 months. Wow. It's disposable, right? So we can start doing, we start putting this little sensor out. I'll go to Michael and go, do you want to start with sepsis warnings, right, from that, and be able to start looking at it from that perspective and be able to do something little with it. We'd be able to get it out on discharge and say, I want to have some surveillance for the next 72 hours. Right, that something's going on in discharge, and you're aware of this. And after that period, we want to start looking at maybe your heart rate, because your congestive heart rate, congestive heart rate patient, heart failure patient. Sorry about that. So we want to be able to bring it all together on one common platform that allows people to get that data. The one thing you can think of really simply, and I don't want to harp on it, this is the reason why Microsoft chose us to work with them. If you go out to the website and type in Microsoft RPM architecture, it's us that comes up. Why they chose us because we interface over 500 different medical devices. And as Mario always say, you don't need 500 different medical devices. But that allows us to be able to start adding disparate devices onto a platform that those 500 different medical devices would have to go to Northwell and say, knock on the door of IT and say, can I integrate my blood pressure device? Now, can I integrate my ECG device? Can I integrate my, my scale or my title care or whatever that's out there to be able to do it? through interfacing to our platform through one connection, you get access to all those other devices that come on board with it as well. So in search of data, it's also driving an efficiency within the health system as well. And with Microsoft, we do one integration with them with Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare, and then they built a connector. Mario's teams built a connector that allows any one of those 1,000 hospital systems that they interface to be able to use that connector to get remote patient monitoring and data fed into their EMR and EHR, right from it. Very, very blessed from the relationship that we have with them. And the interesting thing is we got a little wobbly over the last 3 or 4 months, you know, because they got a little quiet on us after the fiscal year, and we're like, what's going on? They're like heads down working on OpenAI, right? But the one thing that they do need, OpenAI needs, is data, right, from that. And we will become, again, continue to become a valuable partner with them. In fact, you mentioned one of the pharmaceutical companies that's out there, rapid diagnostic companies, put high on their list that RPM and data was a mission. Well, Microsoft has put me, I'll say it openly because it's going to be announced, with Roche to do their TED Talk, right, internally to 2,000 executives out of Basel, Switzerland, and across the world, because they've ranked that RPM and data is their top objective, right, to do that. They need to now start putting stuff together. If you can't see this on here, there's a rapid diagnostic on here, along with a biometric data, along with behavioral information. It's bringing it all together in one place, right? So the other thing, I'll just kind of go into this really quickly, is we kind of started putting this together as well through some of our partners. So we're announcing a partnership with Canary Speech. It's a voice biomarker company. And what Canary Speech does, and Dr. Ru likes this company quite well from Microsoft, it allows them to look at voice stress, it looks at sentiment analysis, it allows them to be able to know if they've got potentially PTSD, you know, and other things and stress in their voice. It'd be very useful for our veterans, right, that we put out with it as well. But I always say, you know, when I talk to mom and dad, mom sounds good today, dad sounds off. Now, imagine if you're a teledoc doctor that's out there and you don't have any continuity of care with that patient whatsoever. You don't know if they're normal or not from this. By using Canary Speech, by using Avicenna, as part of this with, you know, potentially taking survey questions, by using our partner AlgoFace looks at things in your face and decides if you can get biometric readings like, you know, blood pressure or even SpO2, right, from that as well, or behavioral health issues from it as well, from that perspective, or some actual biometric vital sign data. We can bring this all together, potentially allow that teledoc doctor or MD Live doctor or other telehealth doctor to be able to understand if you are, this is normal today, right, from as a baseline to start, right, from it. So we're not selling this today, we're developing and putting it together, so don't run out to the FDA and say these guys are doing this already, because we're not from it. But it's conceptual that we're putting together along with multiple partners to solve a need for that continuity of care, right, as well. And then we've talked about this before, but we have 9 issued patents. Those patents are very valuable, right, in the space. One of the patents, a group of patents, I have Joseph here from Falstings Technology. Joseph's team has done a very thorough job at going through the patent portfolio, right, from that and providing the analysis. We will be going down a route of using this patent portfolio to be able to secure IP secured debt to fund us in our wave of growth from that without having to bring dilutive funding into the company. So it's a stage of funding that we'll be able to use it for, right, to do that. There is valuation. You can talk to Joseph about it, about the valuation that he's helped do to help secure valuations for the insurance companies to be able to insure this portfolio, right, for IP secured debt. And then there's valuations that are out there if Walgreens wants to purchase the portfolio to piss on CVS, right? From that as well, right? So, there's a good group of sensors that we have. But basically right now in our IP, and I won't go into deep into it, But any wearable device that communicates to a medical device, implantable device, or rapid diagnostic is our 007 patent. That's our license to kill patent that's out there. It is a very nice patent to be able to have. We filed it early before a lot of the wearables are out there communicating to medical devices and sensors like this as well. So bringing sensors on like this with my Life Connect division allows me now to start pulling this all together. And then as far as where we're going after health plans and payers, so glad to have, Ryan on board with us, and also, Mark as well to help with, insights, and also, Dr. Shapa as well to help with insights. Great partners like White Plains going after health systems, especially White Plains, but also Microsoft as well. And provider organizations. This is typically where we're going. Part of the thing we're probably leaving off here is also a good candidate for us is retail drug chains, right, as well. And that's where, Judy comes in, right, with her experience along with Dr. Rothman as well, Mark. Good partners. We talked about the Valor contract. We do about 75% of the functionality for the VA. On the VA contract, it's like I said, a $250 million contract. We got a nice, contract LOI with them to show the support and behind us being part of this contract from Valor Healthcare. Valor Healthcare is out of Dallas. They are the prime on it. They're owned by Tribe Capital, private equity. So they're very committed to us working on this. Mario's like on, 10 calls a day with the VA as well. And working on the growth as well. County is a group that we work with, a Microsoft provider out of Canada. Mario's worked to get RFPs done with them, and one currently Fraser Health up there. We talked a little bit about Microsoft, expanding on the Microsoft. And then a good relationship here locally. We're just trying to show you a taste of each one of the categories with, White Plains Hospital, which parent company is Montefiore, right, from that as well. So, then as far as capital projections and stuff like that, we'll next year we're projecting at doing right around 4.6 million. From that, it will come mostly from the VA contract. We'll do about $12 million a year in VA from that. But next year we're starting about March, April timeframe. You could move out just a little bit, but we're preparing and coding and putting that in place right now. The following year, right around 12.7, clear up to about 49 million up to 2027. We actually did financials for the IP valuation, and one of the financial projections we did is in 2029. Being a little bit more aggressive on it, we were showing roughly around 200 million in revenue by 2029. So it's aggressive, but we believe a lot of that's going to come through licensing potentially, but also acquisitions and mergers merging together with us as well to get to those numbers. As far as exits are concerned, I believe it's my belief, and I won't get into a long dissertation on this, but I believe the healthcare systems are going to start consolidating. They're already doing it already. I think over the next 8 or 10 years, you're going to see probably 10 to 15 major health systems that are out there. There'll still be fragmented systems, but major health systems, Ascension, Common Spirit, HCA, right, are some of the candidates. Each one of those will be a payvider. There'll be both a provider and a payer. Each one of them will acquire a global purchasing organization. I'm not going to say they're going to acquire McKesson and AmerisourceBergen and Cardinal and stuff, but each one of them will have a major GPO. Each one of them will have major telehealth, but each one of them also will start transitioning to have smaller clinic footprints, especially in the rural areas from that as well. They're not going to continue to build billion-dollar complexes and having remote care. They're going to start building out in very small. That's why I think CVS and Walgreens are great candidates, because they've already kind of got that footprint, and then virtual care after that. So what does that mean for us? It means that, there's probably at least 15 organizations, and each one of these will probably be worth about 300 to 500 billion because of the consolidation. I think the government will start handing out dollars, CMS dollars to those organizations to be able to distribute money for responsibility. I also think they won't share. between each other as well. It'll be very territorial. So what does it mean for us? It means there's probably 10 to 15 organizations that need to be connected into the community that is a good acquirer for us to be acquired. The other thing in the pathway is we really truly believe that the retail drug chains are a good acquirer for us as well, right from that. And some of the other telehealth companies as well. From our perspective, we already talked about the $95 million for the VA contract from it. We have a $4 million budget that we put together for the VA to be able to complete our integrations for the VA before we start generating revenue out of that. And then we have an LOI out, a term sheet out to oversubscribe our current A1 round. Right from that, we feel probably about 90% confident that's going to get a check mark here in the next day or two, right, to do it. And then our second offering, our Series A, is a $10 million offering that we have out there. That's kicking off the next round. And what the use of funds with that is allow us to be able, the first part of the $4 million is to get the VA implemented and done to get us into a revenue. The oversubscription is allowing us to be able to start kicking up our Life Connect division. Part of it's an investment into companies like Affirm XH and Phildro. The other one, the $10 million, is to help with growth and acquisition, right, from that as well. We're going to start working with Joseph on a regular basis, looking at the IP secured debt to allow us to be able to start putting that facility in place to allow us to grow. Now, keep this in context. I'm almost done. We keep in contact with one of our competitors, Bioformus, which is kind of near our model, but kind of not. They've had $430 million put into them. They $300 million was put in by CVS, right? But they put them under the gun like for a year to perform, and then now they've fired the CEO. They've laid off almost half the staff, right, from that as well. It was invested in too heavily too soon by a bureaucracy that wasn't ready, right, from that. I think that we are well positioned to take up one of those positions as we start growing and we start acquiring, right, from that as well. Really quickly, I think it's a really good marketplace for us right now, especially the capital markets, to be acquiring companies to bring us in, from that perspective, because that's what the health systems and the retailers are looking for. They don't want to do the acquisitions and the consolidation. They want it done for them. And so we have to do that, right? This is a ride or die philosophy. And so far, it's working well to our favor. We're getting really good partners to do that. So that's it. I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what we're doing, but remember, we're a data company, an engagement company. It's all about marketing from that standpoint, and we're an enabler to be able to allow our partners to be able to scale to the community-based care. And we want to do it very simply. So thank you for coming tonight.